Solstice. This is a salutation to the sun, bend and bow in its light. Friend of oleander and vineyards, a memory of mornings when it warmed my back and I swam in a hot sea. All can seem well in the weather it brings. Deserts and ice disappear, snow melts in its shaft. For the times it has fallen, no shadows against it, turned trees to copper, ripened straw gold, and women have sat in the dark shade of doors while young men chase its alchemy and reach for a chance to be king. Nothing can live there, wings melt to wax. Get too close, it will haunt your eyes and your skin. If it turned black, closed its eye because of the murk of cities, where would we reach? What would we follow as spotlight and compass? We would forget how to dance. Nature writing. He collects stones and rocks, finds inside a pattern of shells, animal remains from the sea floor 1,000,000 years ago. He looks for amber among pebbles on the shore, the jewels of drowned forests. He smiles at women who wear them as beads. Under the microscope, crystal patterns echo in the minutiae of cells. Proteins and helixes hold fingerprints, a stranded history of generations. He dreams a legend full of hidden treasure, stamen, chlorophyll, green blood, quark, the fish that left the water, the monkey that stood up. Among the transients of mutations and creatures with one eye, Newton's amazement at an apple dropping rock-like from a tree. Remove 1 part water, structure shifts. Change a particle, there is a different substance. There is no denying the language of the earth. Nature writing, harsh and intractable, like the sea coming in at his feet, throwing up driftwood, keeping shipwrecks and bodies hidden among coral. He fights the suspicion that there might be something else, a mystery entwined in dark places where the bass shoals run. Written in the bone. Why do I mind so much when my neighbour John is away? Is it because I know that he is not there to check accounts or do the parish books or be found digging on his allotment? I don't bump into him walking through the woods, his blue cotton cap and long white hair suggesting in another age they might have called him prophet. Given that he is often hefting branches, cutting logs and wondering what will happen to the green. His car has been parked up for 27 days and the back garden has gone completely wild, sending messages of feral seeds from flowers across hedges into the street to any pavement that will hold them. I tell myself it is because he cares, looks across the boundaries, takes the time to consider his part of the town. In case you think he's gone to take part in some circle dances, he is travelling along the eastern desert roads to understand what might be tribal or what is written in the bone. June at Doucras Manor. The courtyard is a snatch of a far country. The paving stones absorb heat from the sun, water lilts of the sea and a quenched thirst. Here is for fig and lavender to grow, and rosemary its rust taste, strong as honey. There might be lemons or a jasmine-covered wall. Enclosed we sit here in summer pretending. We are high in the mountains, tin bells of goats at the edge of hearing in the clear air. The lily pollen on my hand soaks a rain charm. Slowly the grass is dry and the heads of artichokes burn among the green. Swallows arrive with high calls and indigo wings. In their returning they dart between doors, sit high in the eaves, studying the day. This is one way to bring the distance home. I sit on this terrace, half awake, sun behind my eyes. In the daylight's unravelling, what language should I speak? The Pear Tree. Cut down to make room for a car, for 30 years it signalled spring. Ancient and blossomed, one solitary pear tree on the 1970s estate. Semaphore of beginnings, outrider of the greenwood, first headiness of summer, it filled my head with light each time I passed. Flowers whiter than plastered walls, dark juices and roots put down to earth. From rain-spattered bark, a shimmer of fruit falling on the pavement in October, available to anyone who passed. I put it here to raise my voice for the transience of weather, for golden spice, Waterville, Sauvignac and Flemish beauty, pear trees, petals and enchantment, the cooks who came for windfalls, the juice-glutted wasps, the branches in orchards that shaded doorways with thin sun, self-seeding and all ragged things, for what we do not own and may never know. Naturalist. Big countryman, he stands by the bench, dressed in wool hat, Wellingtons, rucksack and leather. He keeps a book of fields where there have been no larks. Instead, blackcap flocks over winter in the parks. His walleye and careful log note all the absences among the arable fields. Binoculars scanning dust clouds in a world that's warming up. All the detail of the mere has its own pattern. He could live happily in the woods, a hut and firelight, his own compass ticking. Left alone, it would become native of itself, full of mossberries, new seeds, the strange flight of herons. His long view would outstare anyone who tries to change what has been given. He waits for the great flock's return. Geese and swallows to explain to him nature's currents and new rumours on an auspice of feathers. Viking of the hedges, he is his own legend, giving air currents speech, sending messages and warnings, lighting a beacon at each change in the weather. Common ground. Anecdote of a route, it curves across country like a well-trodden songline. Chalk track, footpath, right of way, wide enough for horses and barking dogs. Pulling you into fields through the long grass, green and damp with rain. An old current of walking out with, way to work, chance meetings and crossings, conversations and singing between villages. History embedded in the ground below your feet. Corner, twist and turn, how to get there told by word of mouth and trespass, a map of landmark trees and flowers with folk names, Herb Robert, Jack by the Hedge, Eyebright. On this walk to the river, with only the sky to notice you, as you pass, the wood gives up its songs of larks rising, grey-lag geese, honking a B minor note, a sudden hare, blackberries before the winter frost. May the wide stubble fields that stretch beyond the eye to the land's edge not be a language lost to us. As the crabapple blossoms, as the stile opens, as the crow flies, as the weather turns, as the sun goes in when the moon rises. The violets. in the sheltering wood in spring are held there by the river water. The chalk stream riffles in their delicate white faces, singing through the roots, remaining as dew. Viola odorata, children of the shade, a fine and pleasing plant of Venus, Culpeper wrote, will take away all dull aches, head and heart, cool the spirit and the blood. The violets are the river violets, pooled and green, a lullaby of shadows, where wings dip and trees touch the channel, running gently through the shadow, a letting go, a tender ring, carrying petals, silver-threaded like a crown. The window. The window holds the promise of what might be. Above the street, a small glass bowl holds the transparency of water, a shaft of leaves, shadow leaning, cutting into light. There is a longing for the sun, the certainty of night and day, a field to lie in on the grass. For now it's here on polished wood, a shrine to rain, the way that seasons change, a slow current to a wild river that exists just beyond the clump trees. Somewhere to begin, to touch the ground and the good earth, the particles we come from, and where we will return, if you believe you might be bird skeleton, the silk of feather, the grit at the heart of snow.